the life, the bright lights, the type, the crowd lights. Where you at, ballers? Ladies love me and men, they wanna be me, they pay to come see me. Where you at, ballers?
What's up, y'all? Junior Brown back with NBA Shot Clock on this Wednesday, January 31st with another free pick. And today we rock it with the Cleveland Cavaliers minus 13 against the Detroit Pistons. I do not like these double-digit spreads, but this is me giving the Cavaliers the respect that they've earned from me personally and should be from the rest of the league over the last 2 months. Just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, in the month of January, only 2 teams have won over 80% of the games that they played. The Clippers, who the Cavaliers just beat in the last game by double digits, and the Cavaliers, and the list. So the Cavs have been playing at a high level for over 2 months, and they've maintained that level in the recent past. That's why I'm willing to lay this many points. Now, a lot of that has to do in the recent past with Evan Mobley not being in the lineup. I've been harping on the fact that with Evan Mobley out of the lineup, they've replaced his minutes with shooting, which means more space. Donovan Mitchell has more driving lanes. Jared Allen's been able to do his thing. Well, in the last game against the Clippers, he started, which really made me concerned. But one of the reasons that I'm not off of them is that of the 86 shots they took in that game against the Clippers, 40 of them were from behind the three-point line, which is the type of three-point rate this team needs to be successful. If they keep up that type of three-point rate and continue to space the court, I have all the confidence in the world that the Cavaliers will cover this spread. Give me the Cavs minus 13. Let's cash this ticket, y'all.
Clippers at Wizards, 7 o'clock, Capital One Arena in Washington. NBA Shot Clock, another official. Taking the Clippers at minus 12, 1 unit. Washington comes home off back-to-back outright road wins. The first time all year this team has won 2 games in a row. This team has been very poor winning 1 game in a row. Imagine what they're going to do after 2. And look who they beat. Detroit and the Spurs. Washington is 0-6 at home in the first game coming off of a road cover. And they do find the Clippers coming off of a rare outright loss at Cleveland in their previous game. The Clippers are 5-2 ATS since the middle of November, coming off an outright loss. And both of those non-covers came at home against the Celtics and the Warriors, a polar opposite environment to tonight. The Clippers are 3-1 ATS at the East in their last 4 appearances. And I think a very specific corollary to tonight's game, a game played in the fall at Indiana. Clippers 151, Indiana 127. What are the similarities? Washington and Indiana, young Eastern teams, no defense, high pace. This game projects to be a very high-scoring game with the Clippers lighting up the Wizards for over 140 points. Take the Clippers on the road at minus 12 and buy the over as well for a nice little double play here on an out-of-conference matchup. It is NBA Shot Clock. Another top play. Let's dominate.
What's going on, y'all? Junior Brown back with NBA Shot Clock with my second pick of the day. On this Wednesday, January 31st, Chicago Bulls minus 3 over Charlotte. Very straightforward cap for me. Charlotte is one of the worst teams in the league, and they continue to get worse. They removed Terry Rozier, one of 2 playmakers that they have on the roster. I'll respect Ish Smith by saying 1 of 3. Well, Rozier is gone. That leaves LaMelo and Ish Smith. LaMelo is injured. He didn't play in the last game. Looks like he might be out tonight. So that leaves you Ish Smith and literally not another capable playmaker on a team that with all of their playmakers stink. So I'm fading Charlotte until this guard situation improves. I do believe in Chicago, even though it's the second night of a back-to-back with travel. The one thing about Chicago during this run where they've played better, other than last night losing to Toronto, they've beaten the teams that they're better than. They're better than this team The margin is small enough at -3. Give me the Bulls to cover tonight, and let's cash this ticket, y'all.
Pelicans at Rockets, 8 o'clock, Toyota Center. NBA shot clock, a top lean on the total. We like the over 228 here. If you guys want to sprinkle this game, it is our advisory point. What are we looking at here? Third matchup of the year. Both previous games going way under the current number. Back on November 10th in the in-season tournament, Houston 104, New Orleans 101. Slightly later on, 2 days before Christmas, Houston 106, New Orleans 104. A regular theme you will sense in NBA Shot Clock is looking at numbers and asking yourself, what is the story? When you see a 205 final and a 210 final, and you see a 230.5 open, you say to yourself, why? Neither team is defending like they were in the fall. Younger teams, fatigued legs, may be looking ahead to the All-Star break in coming weeks. The books know something here, a disrespectful line. If you're betting this game, we advise you to take the over, enjoy it, and dominate it. Over 228, New Orleans, Houston.
What's going on, y'all? Junior Brown back with NBA Shot Clock on this Wednesday, January 31st with another free pick, and we're rocking with the Miami Heat Sacramento Kings under 230. The only path to victory for the Heat, not just tonight but on any night, is through defense. And this 7-game losing streak has gotten even worse in the last 3 games in the sense that Miami's allowing their opponents to score 128 points per game. The formula for Miami is pretty simple. The NBA average score per team total is 115 points. That's what the average NBA team puts up on a nightly basis. Miami really struggles to get to that number. They got to keep teams to closer to 110 or less, which is what I think they'll do tonight. Now, I know some of y'all are wondering, why would you assume that they're going to be able to stop this Kings high-powered offense? You're thinking of last year's Kings. Last year's Kings were the #1 team in terms of offensive efficiency. That's how they won their division. But the defense is still trash. This season, they are 14th in offensive efficiency with the exact same roster. The Kings, in my opinion, are fool's gold, which is why I usually try to stay away from games involving them. But tonight I'm rocking with the Heat, I'm rocking with Spoelstra, and I'm rocking with Heat culture. One of the most overused terms in the NBA, but tonight I think it applies. They put the clamps on defense, get right, stop this loser streak, and cash this ticket for us. We're rocking with the under 230. Y'all know what it is. Let's cash this ticket, y'all.
Magic at Spurs, 8 o'clock, Frostbank Center in San Antonio, taking the Spurs in the first quarter, plus 1.5, 1 unit. Why the first quarter, you ask? Spot-specific analysis. When the Spurs find Eastern Conference opponents in their home gymnasium, they turn up. Only 2 non-covers this year in this spot. Significant underdogs against Eastern elites, Milwaukee and Boston. Orlando is not a good first quarter team at all on the road, and they're coming off of an absolute heat check first quarter and first half cover at Dallas. They were on the back end of a back-to-back. They have shown the tendency to show up in fatigue spots with more energy early. This is a regular rest spot. They will reserve their energy for quarters 2, 3, and 4. Buy this one tonight on the Spurs. Wembanyama and Pop in their element. First quarter, plus 1.5. Let's dominate.
What's up, y'all? Junior Brown back with another free pick on this Wednesday, January 31st for NBA Shot Clock, and we're rocking with the under 228.5 Thunder Nuggets. Best division in basketball. Those two, along with the Minnesota Timberwolves, got 33, 33, and 32 wins. You got to go out east to find that many wins, and out west you got 3 of those teams in the same division. All of these games involving Minnesota, Oklahoma City, and Denver have a playoff-like atmosphere. Just go back and look at the pace, and just go back and look at the amount of fouls that are happening, and just the chippiness. Even after the games, people crying about refs, this and that. I love it personally. It's a type of intensity that we can only dream of usually in January or before the playoffs. Now tonight, I think that's going to continue. Even if Joker is out, I had to go back and look to last year because Joker's only missed one game this year. And I wanted to see, does Denver all of a sudden start running and gunning without the Joker? And that's absolutely not the case. In fact, they played a little bit of a slower pace, and they were already one of the slowest paced teams in the league. I think that's going to continue tonight. Even though DeAndre Jordan, in my opinion, I thought was washed, in the minutes that he spells the Joker, he's actually been pretty solid. So give me the under 228.5 in a game that I think gets played with playoff-like intensity. A game that should be must-see TV for y'all if you love basketball, because these two teams have been playing at an elite level all year. Let's go ahead and cash this ticket, y'all.
Mavericks at Wolves, 8 o'clock, Target Center. A top lean NBA shot clock, the 31st of January. We lean towards Minnesota at minus 13.5. We don't love this game for the singular fact we are missing Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. These teams did play on December 28th in Minnesota, and bizarrely, Kyrie and Luka didn't play in that game either. In that particular game, Minnesota did not cover the spread at minus 12.5, 118 to 110. Now books are moving it up to 13.5 with northward steam, seeming to suggest that the backups for the Mavericks got away with murder that night. If you look at that box score, Minnesota was up very quickly in the game with a 37-point first quarter. Could have blown them out. Just took their foot off the gas. Minnesota has not been taking their foot off the gas at home recently on inflated numbers. They did hammer Portland 116 to 93 on a very similar figure, around minus 15. And they did take care of Memphis without Memphis's top players in the lineup with a huge plus 20 fourth quarter to cover 118-103. Books like Minnesota here, as much as it might seem like the backups for Dallas will show up in a classic removal of star environment play up spot. If you guys want to gamble on this game, this is NBA Shot Clock. We give you top analysis on every game. We lean towards Minnesota. Enjoy this one. Play responsibly. Buy it, live it, love it, and let's always dominate.
What's going on, y'all? Junior Brown back with NBA Shot Clock on this Wednesday, January 31st with another free pick, and we're rocking with Milwaukee Bucks team total over 123.5 against Portland. Pretty easy cap for me. I hate to oversimplify any cap. I'm just asking Milwaukee, who average 124 points a game on the season, to be average against one of the worst teams in the league. On an emotional night, Dame Lillard back in Portland. Now, I'm going to throw out another play for y'all. It's a lean, but I'm going to get involved with it most likely because it's directly correlated to this over 123.5, and that's Dame Lillard over 25.5 points. I've hesitated a little bit because there's more to this Dame Lillard story than meets the eye. As cappers, it's our responsibility to follow all narratives in all sports. For those of y'all that don't know, 3 days after Dame Lillard got traded, he filed for divorce. I'm just playing detective, but that seems to me like his trade and his divorce are directly related. And he's opened up about the fact that the hardest part about being a Milwaukee Buck is not on the court, it's off the court. His kids still live in Portland. So he's not just coming back to the Blazers, y'all. He's coming back to his family. An emotional night, might get a really spectacular performance from Dame. At least I hope so we can cash this ticket. But give me over 123.5. Milwaukee Bucks team total. You know what it is, y'all. Let's cash this ticket.
Suns at Nets, NBA Shot Clock. January the 31st, best bet of the day. Phoenix on the road, minus 3.5, 1 unit. Phoenix is showing upward movement off a horrendous 4-19 statistical sample going back to December. And Phoenix is in a great spot here on the road in terms of psychology and revenge. Go back to December 13th. Brooklyn did go into Phoenix and beat the Suns outright as an underdog, 116 to 112. Circumstances in that game were unique. The return game, revenge game for Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, hyper motivation for Brooklyn, and finding Phoenix on that calendar date in a home back-to-back fatigue spot off a big conference win against the Warriors the previous night. To top it all off, that was the first time ever Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker put a Suns uniform on together. Growing pains are real. Brooklyn comes into tonight's game on the 5th game of a 5-game homestand. Far too hot. 3-0 ATS last 3, all against the West. All huge efforts. Covers against Minnesota, Houston, and a blowout against Utah, scoring 147 points. The Nets have a bunch of young players, a bunch of shooters. Sometimes they get hot. When they get hot, they don't back it up the next game. Motivation, narrative, numbers, an opportunity to dominate. Phoenix -3.5 on the road, 1 unit.